Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is November 12th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery here across the region. You see Washington, Oregon here. Here goes our upper level low, spinning some light snowfall across mostly southern and eastern Oregon this morning. That'll move out of the area and continue to weaken, moving south today. You can see much of the region has a lot of sunshine this morning. Pretty nice day, and we should remain that way on in through next week. See some low clouds moving across the Strait of Juan de Fuca, Strait of Georgia here. That should be moving around and burning off during the day today. New snowfall across the Rocky Mountains showing up nicely here. Idaho, Montana, up through BC as well. Looking at Seattle, we're going on about a week now below average temperatures, and we really cut off the precipitation. It's going to remain so through this week. So we're going to be playing catch up precipitation wise as we go through the end of November here across much of the Pacific Northwest. Moderate risk for sneaker waves here along the Oregon coast. You could extend this up for Washington, Vancouver Island as well. Watch out. These waves can run well above the normal wave height there. Do not turn your back on the ocean. Heads up for that. Now, taking a look here at surface pressure map, you can see the weak system off the Oregon coast here. Now, we build this ridge over the area. Now, going on into next week, model's been showing this Arctic high dropping down. But look at how the Rocky Mountains just really keep this thing off to the east of us here. So you can really see the terrain feature of the Rocky Mountains versus the Canadian prairies here. It's going to bring some of this high pressure into BC and eastern Washington, keeping us in a dry offshore flow before some systems potentially reach us on through the extended. We'll take a look at that here in some more detail here in a moment. Now looking here, you can see that low pressure system impacting Oregon, kicking south and weakening. And then we really just shut off the precipitation here across Pacific Northwest. There goes that Arctic high pressure system moving down the backside of the Rockies, maybe clipping eastern BC a little bit here. So this is basically just a wedge of cold air just pushing up against the atmosphere here and wringing it out and dropping some snow with it. Not much in the way of Pacific moisture associated here, but it is just wringing out the atmosphere for whatever it's worth in this cold air mass that moves down across east of the Rockies into Montana. Now taking a look here with this dew point temperature across Pacific Northwest, pretty dry across the region here. We're going to remain that way in through next week, and you can see that Arctic air move down east of the Rockies here, and this is going to actually leak out a little bit into western Washington, Oregon here as we go through later next week as well. So we feel a little bit of an impact from that, but just mainly just cool, dry air and offshore flow before potential systems move back in again. We'll take a look at that more here in a minute. Northern hemisphere here, you can see Russia, you can see BC, Washington, Oregon. There goes our system currently. There's the Hawaiian Islands, Pacific Ocean. System moves off, big ridge builds in, polar lobe comes down and takes a swipe at Montana, bringing us some dry offshore flow for the Pacific Northwest here. But look, as we go through the extended here, Europeans been showing a pretty strong signal here for some Gulf of Alaska troughing, really digging in here towards the end of November here. So if you like stormy weather, it looks like a good signal for it returning later portion of November, which is to be expected this time of year. Now taking a look here, 10,000 feet, 700 millibars GFS, Northern Hemisphere again, BC, Washington, Oregon, Hawaiian Islands, Pacific Ocean. Look at all this cold air over Siberia and the North Pole here. And eventually this starts to move back down across Alaska and out over the Gulf of Alaska. And that's what would return our active weather here to the Pacific Northwest here. As you can see, this is looking off towards Thanksgiving at this point. So it's a ways out there, but this is what we're watching for now. Now taking a look here, Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, cool, frosty mornings with some nice sunny days coming up here through at least the next week or so. But you can see that signal showing up there for later November, November 20th and on. Looks like the faucet's going to turn back on here for the Pacific Northwest. GFS, total precipitation. You see the system moving through the region now. There goes our Arctic front there, down across portions of eastern BC and Montana. A little bit further west with that on the GFS versus the European. Now you can see on into the extended here, the faucet just really turns on. Maybe some atmospheric river events coming up here towards the end of November, which is typical for this time of year. So to be expected, 8 to 14 day temperature outlook here. You can see above average potential there for some of the Pacific Northwest. 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook. Looks like precipitation might be starting to return as we've been talking about. 3 to 4 weeks out here. You can see November 26th through December 9th. We got the bullseye on us here across Pacific Northwest. So good for storm lovers here across, much of the region. This is watching La Nina here. So you can see La Nina still clearly in charge. We are in moderate La Nina right now. You can see the cold water, upwelling here along the coast of South America, moving out across the equatorial Pacific. And this is where we measure these conditions here. And we are into moderate right now. When La Nina changes to El Nino, then this will be warm water out across the Pacific Ocean here and changes the entire circulation of the Pacific Ocean here, atmosphere wise anyway. And it will has global, global impacts when we change from La Nina to El Nino. So it'll be interesting to see what the next El Nino brings here as it comes. It'll be back probably within a year or two here, but right now we're just enjoying this La Nina, and let's see what we get out of it this winter here. I expect us to at least flirt with a couple more cold air outbreaks, maybe once or twice here across Pacific Northwest. Just a hunch here. So yeah, nice days coming up here. Enjoy that offshore flow. Enjoy these sunny days. Get it while you can here for November, because the storms will be back. Looks to return to active pattern here through the late portion of November on in through early December here. We'll continue to monitor that as we go. Arctic front mainly going to stay east of the Rocky Mountains here, but we will feel its impacts and mainly a dry offshore flow across the Pacific Northwest here. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. Get those cameras out. Get some of those snow-capped mountains. Put them on Twitter. And we'll do this again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you then.